Evening, welcome to the Derby debrief from RamsTV, live from Pride Park Stadium. Owen Bradley with Jamie Ward and Shaun Barker alongside, here to reflect on Derby's draw with Lincoln City tonight, on the night that Derby lose a bit of ground in the League One promotion race. The Rams went behind in the first half, equalised in the second through Conor, who you'll hear from a little later, but there was to be no winner for Derby against 10 men for long stretches of the game as well. We'll get the thoughts of Paul Warne in a moment or two, but we'll kick off with the boys. Thanks for sticking around, both of you. Barks, so look for us. What do you make of tonight?
Off it, I think, for us. Our home form's been excellent. Some of the attacking play we've seen of late has been outstanding. Today we're off it. I think we struggled a little bit in midfield with not having the third man in there. He changed that at half time. For 10 minutes in the second half, it was frantic. Lincoln were by far the better team. They looked more of a threat. Diamond, every time he touched the ball, looked like he can get in behind. And that's not been like us. And the thing that I thought we struggled most, we didn't seem to have composure with the ball. We were forcing too many passes, forcing crosses into the box. And of late, we've seen a mix between going forward at times, stretching the pitch, coming short, intricate play. When we did that, we were a threat. But in general, off. It's been an off day for us.
Wardy?
No, I agree. I think the times that I've seen Derby this season, that wasn't the same standard as what I've seen in the past. So I think there was a lack of intensity. It's the way Paul Warne wants to play, a lack of intensity, lack of quality. They didn't really move the ball with a purpose. So that's going to be frustrating. Obviously, Lincoln went down to 10 men. They was always going to make it tough. So you have to keep moving the ball. You have to move it nice and quick and try and get it wide. So unfortunately, it just wasn't meant to be tonight, was it? But they got back in the game.
Yeah, not Derby's night. More from the boys in a moment or two. First, let's hear from the head coach, Paul Warne.
Disappointed, frustrated. Maybe I got the team wrong, so I have to take some responsibility for that. We just looked a bit jaded as a team, which isn't like us really. And possibly didn't move the ball quick enough, and we just had a few too many players probably not at their best, not through a lack of effort, but just probably weren't on song. And in fairness to Lincoln, we knew they were going to be really good. We knew they were going to be resilient. We knew they'd have a back five, which is very hard to break down. And at times, second half, with good play, we did create chances, but in the gilt edge moments, we weren't good enough to take them. And we had a few very good chances, especially later on, that we didn't take. But I have to credit Lincoln. I thought they were really good, and I hate to admit, but changed it at half time. In the first 15 minutes of the second half, we looked all over the place, which I don't really like to say about our team, but we weren't on any second balls or anything. And then obviously we got a goal and grew into it, and then we were in the ascendancy, but there was always that risk. They got in a couple of times, virtually one-on-one. On another day, you could end up losing that, and that's sort of how it felt on the side of the pitch. We never had complete control, even when they had 10 men. They sat behind the ball and countered, and there was always that risk. So it might be a point gained and 2 points lost, because we weren't at our best. And normally against any team in this league, and that's why League One is so up and down, anyone can beat you when you're not on song, and tonight I don't think we were.
A couple of changes at half time is usually a sign that a manager's not very happy. Is it fair to say you weren't too happy?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't dancing the jig as I went up the tunnel. That's true. Look, no one intends to, have a bad game, but we're paid as coaches to make changes where we see fit, and we've got a really strong bench. And I just thought that, just looked a little bit jaded. I wanted to get 90 a bit higher. We just weren't getting in behind him at all. And it wasn't that Colo was having a bad game. We just didn't really get him the ball. We weren't crossing it. We weren't doing anything. I just thought the change of shape, and it allows us to get Harvey on, who, is a good footballer. Might be able to switch the ball quicker. Might be able to play with a bit more purpose. I just thought, Tom for Dobbs, or, you start Dobbs, or you start Tom, or you start Nat, or you start, Tony. They all bring different things. So sometimes you just think, well, we'll give them something else to think about. So I could have made more changes, obviously, at half time, but I limited myself to just a couple.
Did you get the sense at any point, especially when you got the equaliser, that you were going to go on and win it?
I'd like to stand here and say yes, but my honest opinion is no. I just felt like it was one of them nights where we'd started off poorly. The centre we messed up. They nearly got in straight away, and I just thought, oh no. And pre-warned the team that, you know, only us at our best wins football games. You come down one gear against any team and you're liable. So I didn't think the start of the second half, I didn't think we started very well. I didn't think we won any second balls that I've, you know, said to, alluded to. But in fairness, you know, fair play to Lincoln. They've got a young group, but quite a fit group, and they were winning all second balls. So I was concerned, and I honestly thought they were going to get a second goal. It just sort of felt like that, and they had the, you know, the wind behind them, so to speak, and full of confidence. So when we got our goal, I just wanted us to create a few more chances. We probably condensed all our chances into the last 15 minutes, really, which is disappointing. But luckily, we come away with something when we've played pretty poorly. So I don't leave the ground tonight thinking, oh, we're, you know, with this and with that. We need to help the team. That's our job as coaches. We need to help the team. I think when teams sit in, we've got to have to be a bit more creative to break them down. A couple of times we did, and it nearly came off. And there's a few problems where we're crossing it from one side, and the other wide man needs to get in and try and score at the far post. So, yeah, we're back, not back to the drawing board. That's a bit extreme, but we need to sort of lick our wounds and get the best out of us again on the weekend.
Paul Warne, the Derby head coach there, always honest and clearly disappointed. He
is, yeah. I think with some of the performances over the last month or two, I think he probably expects more this evening. I don't think he underestimated Lincoln. He knows they're a good side. They showed that in glimpses today, especially on the counter with Diamond on the right-hand side, and then went up front. It was excellent. For me, it was the creativity in the final third. I thought there was crosses in the box, but it felt a bit aimless. And as a centre half, that's the kind of thing I would love to do in defensive in the box. Is just to get my head on things. I thought we were better when we played the little 1-2s around the box, when there were the creative passes and moving. I think Barkhazen came on and reverse passed to Sibbs. The times when Smith went into Mendes-Lang. As a wide player, sometimes we can make it predictable. So if I was playing against Warne, I'd be forcing wide to put crosses in, but he wants to get on the inside, little creative passes, and I thought we lacked that. I thought we lacked that creative energy in the final third. I don't know what Warne thought.
No, I totally agree. I think there wasn't enough little 1-2s around the box where you can pass in, follow, or make a run in behind. So I think on that view, yeah, I definitely agree with you. Like you say, balls just punted in the box for the sake of putting it in the box. There was, like the manager said, there's no purpose to what they'd done tonight, and that was probably the most frustrating thing of the whole night. There was no purpose to what they'd done.
It's not really a massive topic of conversation. It wasn't the manager there, but actually both goals, and we've looked back at them, are offside.
Yeah.
And I think you called it spot on as we were watching both of them at the time. At least it's the same official that gets them both wrong. But is the game any different if Lincoln don't score at that time, a couple of minutes before the break?
I think it is, yeah. I think obviously the team talk changes, doesn't it, at half time? From a manager's point of view, it certainly changes. You're still comfortable in the game. Obviously it's 0-0. You're going into the game, obviously starting from afresh. So yeah, I would say there's a definite difference going into the game at 0-0 rather than 1-0 down, and I think that changed. I think it showed once Lincoln went down to 10 men. Derby had to go and chase and get a goal, didn't they? So I think if it's 0-0, Derby find their way into the second half, and they'd probably go and score the goal and win the game in the end.
I think the thing I struggled with this evening, I didn't think we had control at any point. So in the second half, we changed the formation. We added Knight further up the pitch. It was Lincoln who landed on all the second balls. It was them who looked more threatening at 1-0 after the second half. We showed an intensity in the first 10 minutes or so in the second half, but lacked the quality, lacked the control that we needed. That was our downfall for the majority of the game. Again, a few people off it. Players that we've talked about, Erin Cashin, who's been outstanding for the last year and a half. There's players on that pitch that were just below par. And again, if you've got 4 or 5 of those players, it's a lot to carry. So there was 2 or 3 that can hold their heads up high. But in general, the quality was down from normal.
So you know, in the second half, once obviously if they go into it 0-0, do you think Derby try and force the ball a little bit more, or are they patient that little bit more where they go, we don't have to force it, we don't have to score a goal?
I think Warne knows that the below standards. He does at half time. I think that's why he makes the changes, because he knows that the standards aren't where they need to be. It's different when you're changing, but the game changes with the sending off, because Lincoln were the better team. they were the better team in the second half. It changes when the sending off happens. All of a sudden we're on the front foot, we're in the final third, we're creating chances, but that's to be expected.
Did you think, because we've seen Derby do it recently with late goals, did you think they'd won it at the end with David McGoldrick?
Yep, I really did, and I think it was the only one that was potentially onside.
It's definitely the closest of the three.
Yeah, it's difficult from the angles, but it wouldn't have surprised me because we were knocking on the door, we were putting them under a little bit of pressure. We weren't at the races this evening, but I still felt that this team with Warne, with how it's changed things, how we were on top. The last 10 minutes was all balls into the box. They were defending for their lives. It felt like we were going to nick it, but ultimately I just don't think we did enough over the 90 minutes. With the situation of down to 10 men, we had something like 70% of the possession. How many times did the keeper make really, really good saves? He had a couple of comfortable ones. So for me, it wasn't enough. I still thought we were going to nick it.
I know people will moan that Lincoln have gone down to 10 men, but it is tough to play against 10 men because they just sit deeper and deeper, and it is really hard to break down if no one's going to step out and try and close the ball down. So from a player's point of view, from a fan's point of view, you think that's it, you go on and win the game, there's no problem. But from a player's point of view, it's totally different. It's a lot harder to break them down.
And let's get some more reaction from the Derby camp. We can hear from Conor Hourihane.
Look, probably not in the end, I suppose. Look, thought we had some decent chances towards the end of the game. Obviously, look, they pushed back and slowed things down and all the rest of it and tried to frustrate and try and take a point away from the game, I suppose, which they did. But look, it's a point on the board. Been disappointed, I suppose, the last couple of games. I don't think we've played too badly, just not got the results, unfortunately. So it just shows how quickly football can change a little bit. You know, we've gone from feeling unbeatable to 4 days later feeling a little bit down on ourselves. So that's football. That's the journey we're on.
Yeah, previously I think you always got the sense that you would come back and win the game. Did you ever feel like that tonight?
I suppose, look, it's easy to get back in the game when we went down to 10 men. That's how we ended up, you know, pinning them back and getting a goal. It felt like one of them frustrating nights from the off, really. So look, when they went down to 10 men, that gave us a little bit of a lift again, something that we needed, a little bit of luck. And you hope from there that you go on and win the game, because obviously it was probably, 40 minutes with them down to 10 men. So yeah, look, we managed to get one at least. Would have been nice to get another one to nick all 3 points, but it wasn't to be.
Sometimes it can be, and I think it was tonight, very difficult against 10. You must have been pleased to at least get the one. Yeah,
it's something anyway, look, to keep the points ticking over. You know, I suppose at home we're expected to win all our games. That's just you know, the magnitude of the club that we're at. There's high expectations all the time, but sometimes football doesn't work like that. Unfortunately, it wasn't from a want to trying, and yeah, it's a case of taking 1 point tonight, and hopefully come Saturday we'll get 3. Yeah,
you've set yourselves very high standards with the run that you've been on. Is that why it maybe feels as frustrating as it does?
Yeah, I think so. Look, when we were on an amazing run for quite a while, unbeaten, I suppose that finished on Saturday, and then we wanted to get back to winning ways. But look, Lincoln have been on a decent run as well. If people have seen their form previously over the last 4 or 5 games, they've picked up some decent results. So it wasn't going to be an easy game tonight, and I felt you know, they did their jobs well, and you know, credit to them.
Derby's goal scorer tonight, Conor Hourihane. Results from around League One. Hasn't been a great night for Derby all round. Wickham winning at Accrington Stanley. Big win for Bolton, who've gone third tonight. They thrashed MK Dons by 5-0. Ipswich, the only other side in the top 6 to drop points tonight, drawing with Bristol Rovers. Wins for Plymouth, the leaders, and for Sheffield Wednesday as well. This is what it means for the table. Plymouth stay top, Sheffield Wednesday stay second. Bolton, the side closest to them now, they have played more games than the rest of the top 6. Derby 5th, in touch with Ipswich, but the gap to the automatic places has climbed just a little bit once again. Lincoln stay exactly where they were. Forest Green still rooted to the bottom of the table. That's all from us for now. If you want more reaction, it's on the website dcfc.co.uk. My thanks to Barks and Warne, and to you for watching. Goodbye.